Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure welcoming you here to this political rumble here in Corwin TV. Yes, we are live and direct, of course, to continue to discuss the unbiased reportage of events. I think let's see if we can improve on the lights and hopefully get something better. Yes, you're most welcome to this edition of the political rumbles here in Corwin TV. I remain the host anchor Chigozendi, but wishing you all the best of the day, of course, and I trust everyone is getting on well. Yes, we are live and direct this very moment, of course, to discuss very important issues here, which has been of most concern to us following the recent development of events and happenings within the Nigerian socio-political, of course, sphere. And this has given some concerns to everyone who might care to know. Not that just an ordinary concern, but it has been, of course, an issue that demands emergency to that extent. Of course, we are here to give in depth analysis and discussion over this subject matter. Tinubu's government hijacked, of course, uh, with costly prices to pay. You could recall the level of desperation, of course, which led to the ambitious. I know Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu has been an ambitious personality. And this, of course, does not just come without a price, and he needed to fulfill his lifetime ambition of becoming the president of Nigeria at all costs, and is ready and willing to pay the cost. Of course, he may have calculated what it might take him. He is willing to make any sacrifice if that will ensure him becoming, of course, the first citizen of the country, regardless of whatever cost, of course, that might incur or burden on the Nigerian populace. No wonder he came with this slogan that Emiloko. Emiloko means it is my turn, the turn to be compensated, having paid or perhaps build some political allies across the West, the North, and of course the South, which he believes with all these subjects, of course, he could be able to leap at his destiny or supposed intention of becoming the president, the most inviolable and highest civil or public service office is of the president. And now people mistook him for a joke, but he knew, of course, having made his calculations and how to navigate, which might not be a popular one or acceptable by all, or in a sense society, but he said if you need power, of course, you need to grab it, you need to run with it, you need to seize it. And that has been his ideology of remaining relevant within the corridor of power. He has been, of course, in control of Lagos for 24 years, still counting. You understand what that means? The enormous resources, of course, generated within Lagos is under his beck and call. And with this could finance any political ambition or interest, of course, he may want to protect. Now, coming down to this, when it becomes very clear to Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who becomes the substantive president or 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, after the most controversial presidential election in the history of Nigeria, which was, of course, most contested at the courts. And of course, he was given a run for that. But at the end of the day, of course, the appellate courts decided to uphold the pronouncement of Mahmoud Yakubu of INEC, of course, after the 25th February election, which saw him, according to INEC pronouncement, to be the, of course, the president-elect that was sworn in on the 29th of May this year, that is under review. Now, having said this, I'm just setting, of course, the preamble for our discussion this morning. This evening, I welcome you to this exciting moment, and I crave your indulgence of God to be free to express yourself via the comment sections over these topical issues. Tinubu's government hijacked. Even before, of course, assuming office as the president of Nigeria, of course, he has made very costly, of course, undertakings in order to ensure that his own government, if eventually affirmed by the Supreme Court, will, of course, enjoy certain level of peace, especially within his supporters, who believed that that wouldn't have been possible without their efforts and, of course, contribution towards that. Yes, I rightly submitted that it was the most contested elections, and every time you hear him address the public, or anytime you want to say, he said, "It is my turn," with strong affirmations. Possibly people never knew that he was some steps ahead of others who believe that the rule of law would take the day, but they were, of course, in for the worst shock that it never happened, of course, based on the reports and the happenings uh, prior to the election and after the election at the, of course, judiciary, at the courts, where some vague issues are bordering on the constitution, electoral reforms of constitution should be ironed out. And you know what the Supreme Court finally said? They based their judgment based on technicalities to uphold, of course, this judgment of the tribunal, presidential tribunal, which also was based on technicalities. All these things, of course, are point out to the fact that there have been a pre-arrangement to that effect because power was actually bargained ahead of time. So regardless of whatever process you might take, and we have strike the deal, and it is for you to keep your own bargain of the deal if you must enjoy peace. No wonder before this dispensation, it is assumed that every state must have one representative or one minister, which invariably 36 states having providing 36 ministers and possibly one from Abuja or one or two from other states to make it within the neighborhood of 37, 38, 39. But the reverse was the case because of the very reason why we are here to discuss. There are people that needed to be compensated, and so for Tinubu to fulfill his own bargain of course, that was reached, he have to create more portfolios to accommodate those who might feel aggrieved, who might feel betrayed or disappointed. But that does not come without a cost. That led Tinubu, the president, of course, to create more portfolios in the ministerial appointment, which saw the total number of ministerial appointments to 48. This has never happened in the history of Nigeria, where you have 48 ministers with new portfolios created. And you begin to ask yourself of what economic importance is those new portfolios that were created. It was not meant to serve the interests of the masses. It was mere political compensations. Of course, because the power brokers or those behind the scene uh, who worked in quotes for the emergence of the president needed to be, of course, compensated and, of course, enjoy the juicy opportunities that these governments can afford. So, to this extent, the government of Tinubu has no any option than to do the biddings of those cabals or those who are the engineers or who propelled him to emerge as the president of the country, not knowing, of course, not that he's living in denial, that this will unfortunately rub off on the Nigerian state, because for you to maintain additional, let me say, additional 10 portfolios, ministerial portfolio, additional 10 to 12 portfolios, you know what that means? It is cost intensive. In a time where people are calling and clamoring for downsizing, of course, the government spending, government political structures, in order to save some money for the upkeep of the government or the country. But unfortunately, this seems to be a defeated, uh, battle, honestly. And the same government who is aware that Nigeria is indebted to the tune of 87 trillion naira could at this time consider expanding the already widened expenditures, of course, the cost of running the government of this country. Nigeria has the highest cost of governance in the whole world. Not even the president of America could, I mean, receive such a remuneration like that of her counterpart, Nigeria president. It is quite sad. This, of course, leaves us with no option than to think further. Why is it that the Dubai, the recently observed COP 28, that Nigeria could provide delegates up to 1,411? What are they for? The last dispensation had about 5 representatives. During the last international conference on climate change, 5 people, which is relatively balanced. Then why suddenly, when we are crying that there is limited resources, in fact, there is no resources to run Nigerian states. Nigeria is on deficit. It's running on deficit. Why? Because you have been all the resources, internally generated revenue, is being swallowed up by debts. We have humongous debt running to the tune of 87 trillion. So is it the time to expand your entourage or the delegates who are going there for shopping and for things that does not add value to the economy, to the existence of the Nigerian masses who are already impoverished by the insensitivity and uh, uh, misgovernance, extravagant spending, reckless spending on the parts of the political elites. You can imagine. Unfortunate thing is that not just the GSK, GSK have left Nigeria. P&G are also winding up. They have declared their position to leave the Nigerian. You know what that means? More Nigerians are being retrenched. If GSK left just quite not few months ago, and P&G is joining them again, I mean, that is very serious problem for this country. But unfortunately, those who should know better are living in denial. And that means another economic disaster for millions or hundreds of thousands of Nigeria who are directly engaged or indirectly engaged because the chain of business, some are dealers, some are directly employed, some are distributors. All these people will go out of market. And that way, in widen, of course, the already a battered economy. Just imagine if P&G leaves Nigeria, just as they have made their positions known. Now, who else remains? These are multinationals who came, I mean, multi-million dollars investment. They are pulling out their investments because of they cited some government policies and cost of running the government. The inflation is eating up, of course, their reserves and the cost of capital for running the business. And they decided that no, we can't continue with this. It's high time we live in the reality of the times. And we are winding up. The same government who went with 1,411, I mean, delegates to Dubai for shopping and whatever, lavishing the money. They had, and if there is no even money, let alone the one to be earned hardly. These are borrowed funds with interest running into several trillions. Imagine the 2024 budget fiscal year, over 7 trillion has been earmarked in servicing of debts. To service debt, not even to pay the debts, accrued over the years. And we have not even seen the end of borrowing. They are just starting. This government is just starting. This is just the genesis. By the time it's cross Leviticus, I mean Exodus to Leviticus, and it gets to Judges, then you have nothing to judge. Because by then the total system may have shut down. What is the indication of P&G leaving, GSK leaving? It means the cost of buying malaria drug now is times 10. The malaria drug you used to have at 1,008, 1,008 Zynet or Zynet, whatever they call it. You see? Is at 7,000 plus. 7,000. That is the negative effects of GSK leaving. Another one, what did they call it again? That is used for typhoid. Treatment of typhoid is 25,000. Something that was bought 2005 is now 25,000 naira. How many people can afford Zynet? It's mostly meant for children that has infection. I remember when my child, it was being prescribed for him. about 2, 3 times within the first 1 to 4 years. I know how much I spent procuring those things. Imagine now that you have such prescription is made and you have to cough out 7,000, 25,000 just to procure buy one tablet, malaria, typhoid. And the government is not asking, why are they leaving? Those who left, why did they leave? PRG that is joining them, why are they leaving? They are leaving because the Nigerian system, Nigerian economic space is no longer friendly. It is choking them, it is killing them, killing their market, killing their business, killing their capital. And yet we have a government, we have a president who tours the world round, claiming he is canvassing for investors. It's just like a man who marries one wife. You have not been able to maintain the one you have. And you are thinking of bringing another 5. The one you have, you've not been able to clothe her, you've not been able to maintain her, you've not been able to, take care of her basic necessities. You've not been able to, fill the emotional gap. And now you want to marry, you want to go and pregnant. Let me just not use the word marry. You want to go and pregnant and force your penis in another 10 women, innocent women. And you think they are very stupid? You think they are very stupid to agree with you after they have underscored your antecedents, after they have underscored how hostile you have been, how destructive you have been to the ones you married that forced them to leave you. And the unfortunate thing is that the one you married, the children, you've not been able to show any sign or concern, let alone that you are handicapped. You abandoned them. You didn't even ask how could they eat, how are they surviving. And you went out, you want to go and pregnant another 100 virgins. That is the height of madness, the height of irresponsibility. You begin to ask, do we really have people who still live in the consciousness of the reality of the time we are? Do they even ask questions? So you want them to come and invest, so you are told you are deceiving the gullible ones who will be laughing at you. You've never been able to take care of those who manage to survive, who manage to absorb the pressures of the cost of running the business. You have not in any way encouraged, because if you have encouraged them, they wouldn't contemplate living in the first instance. But because you have not given them that encouragement, and even though that encouragement is coming, it is not making any positive impact, because the inflation swallows up whatever is left. The cost of running diesel, imagine. I boarded a public bus today. You know what the man was complaining? He said 10,000 fuel he bought could not take him just coming back to and fro, just within a short distance. 10,000. He was lamenting, said, what kind of life is this? Imagine running diesel day after day in production. No wonder, just to stay in line with our discussion, This government of Tinubu has been hijacked. You recall his predecessors, being Buhari, said that in June subsidy will be removed, which means there is an agreement, an undertaking between the one that is living and the one that has been programmed to take over or to succeed. And what did the President Bola Tinubu did? Immediately he assumes office, he has to play the music of his predecessors, pre-arranged undertakings. That once you step there, you have to protect my interests, remove the subsidy. And before he gets to the Oval Office, the Aso Rock, on his way, he made the pronouncement, subsidy is gone. Without sitting down to underscore, to study why is the petroleum sector not working? Why is it that we don't have functional refineries? Why is it that over 80% of the, of course, crude oils or crudes is being stolen under the watch of heavy surveillance of the navies, of the Air Force, air surveillance, of the military, of the armies, of the custom? They are being stolen under the heavy watch of these security operatives. And the government still have guts, has the effrontery, could not have shame to tell Nigerian populace that 80% of the crudes is being stolen, which forms the largest revenue of the country, the major stream of the economy. 80% is being stolen by who? An ordinary man who is hungry, who cannot even afford a bicycle, let alone floating a ship, let alone acquiring all these gunboats and all that for piracy and all that. Who are you deceiving? Is it the same government's allies looting the country? And Tinubu do not consider, as somebody who is taking a new office, to underscore what it takes to have some review, to check the books and know where to add or where to subtract. On his way to the Aso Rock, he said subsidy is gone. He doesn't care what matters. His only interest is to protect the interests of those who put him there. His government was hijacked even before he assumes office. Now, why do you remove subsidy? You came with some stories, cock and book stories, that removing subsidy, you will save so that you will not be borrowing. You will save and use the money to reinvest in the country and use and create jobs and create roads and build. How many roads have been built? Or is 6 months not enough to build roads? Not even fixing the deplorable roads we have, not even maintaining themselves. I'm not talking of building new ones, constructing new ones. Those ones that are here have not been even maintained. Look at, in fact, some of them are death traps across the eastern roads, even here in Lagos, let alone to talk about the north. I saw one of the trailers loaded with tomatoes and other vegetables was trapped because of bad roads, and damages was incurred. Farmers lost billions on the road because of the bad roads.
So it's not just about the east, not the north. Virtually every part of this country, we don't have roads. Most roads, in fact, are death traps. That's why you see trailers collapsing, tankers collapsing, people dying. Is 6 months plus not enough to fix the roads? The same government who told us in 2014, the same personality who told us in 2014 that 6 months is enough to stabilize electricity generation and distribution. So what happens? How market? We cannot continue to live in deception. The same person who told us that there will be availability of fuel. Every Nigerian can afford and access fuel. Now, drivers are crying, not just drivers, everybody. Some institutions, financial institutions, banks have adjusted their work hours. They have reduced their working hours, schedules for the day, because they want to conserve some, they want to cut down on their cost of running on diesel. This is the country we are. And yet, this government have not come out to think why in the last 6 months we have not been able to give light, electricity to the populations. I don't mean to the commercial level or that can drive industrialization. I mean, even the domestic supply, the one that is able to meet the domestic needs, have not been attained, have not been achieved. Today you see 2 megawatts. Today, tomorrow is 1 megawatt. The next one is total collapse. Total collapse. Honestly, this is quite unfortunate. This is the reality. And they will tell you, say, it was sabotage. Sabotage by who? When you go and import fake inferior materials, why wouldn't they collapse? No, why wouldn't they collapse? Why did France electricity? Why didn't it collapse? Why did the system didn't collapse? Why is America not collapsing? Why is China not collapsing? So why must it be Nigeria every time the power, whatever they call it? In fact, I'm even forgetting it so soon. Why are they not collapsing? Why is it only Nigeria that will be collapsing? When you talk about the health sector, that is another pitiable situation. Health sector. I told you that GSK left a drug that was usually bought for 1.8. You are even crying then that this drug is very expensive, it's costly. Now it's 7,000. So is it tears that will be running out of the eyes of Nigerians who were once crying before, or is it blood? Because the blood itself no day again, let alone to drop. The one sold for 2,500 is 25,000. So what will the person be crying out? No, tell me. P&G is leaving. These are the more notable ones we can identify because they declare their intention of leaving. What of others who have left, who have even died without making any sign? That is quite sad. And the government is not asking questions. And those who are the media propagandas of this government are not coordinated enough. They are not articulate enough to define the objectives, if actually there is, of this government, and be able to communicate them to the masses who are already confused. battered, and left totally perplexed, confused. With due respect, they claim they have the best science, of course, in managing the media and the public relations. They have not been able to tell Nigeria. Of course, what will you tell people? You know yourself that you don't have anything to say. The government of APC has been built and established under propaganda, propagandists, experts. But that is nothing else to propaganda about. There's nothing else to lie. You even promise Nigerians you abado, which is the basic something we can understand. Corn and cassava will be available. How much is a pint of garri? A garri cassava now. How much is corn? Pap. Corn. You miss pap? Where you get pap from? How much is pap now? A pap of 200 naira will not be enough for my little boy of 5 years. A pap, 200 naira. Pap. But you promise us abado and cassava. Where are they? You promise us the basic thing you promise us is what Nigerians can't afford again. You promise us cassava, which is garri, fufu. Oh my God, that is a serious problem in this country. That is a serious problem that demands is an issue of urgency, is an issue of emergency, is an issue that will keep everybody on his toes. Because Nigeria is building an army of resistance, an army that will not look back until they devour this country like locusts. They will eat up anything called Nigeria, because they are being pushed to the wall. When you promise the basic, when you are sipping garri, my mommy will say, "Why are you drinking garri? Are you hungry? Why are you drinking garri?" They will say, "This one is drinking. You are sipping garri, but then why are you drinking garri?" But now that is, in fact, people are scrambling for garri. Let alone Babij. I'm sorry, I'm not insulting that people. Of course, it is their choice. Most people like Jabu garri, but it's not appealing to some. But now, even the Babij Jabu garri, it's no longer affordable. Honestly, it's not a matter of laughing. I remember those days. You said, why not wait until they cook food? Or you sip garri once in a while, or you use beans ewa to drink it. For those who don't like beans, you mean like me, I don't like beans, but it's no longer affordable. Let alone liking it. It's not even affordable now. You go say you don't like it. Can you afford it? How many Nigerians? These basic things. This one they eat beans. Beans. Every time beans. I remember when I was serving. When we are paid a little alawi. As guys now, we just wait that 12 midnight. They will bring lights. Light is not always constant, stable. It's not always available. So that midnight when they bring the light, we'll go use a boiler. Use this plastic. Buy beans, paint at least. Beans you can afford. It can help us manage the something. Whether you like beans or not, you manage to adapt to the situation. But now, those days now, we were paid 9,000 plus. You see, when we are serving, and we can manage with beans and garri and manage for the month before the next allowance. It's not even, we are just managing, not that it is something, but I'm telling you, then that was 2009 to 2010. You are talking of managing 9,000, even 100,000 now as individual. It will give you hypertension in a month in Nigeria. You can't even see the garri self and the ewa beans. This is so sad. This is so sad. When you walk on the streets of Nigeria, on the streets of Lagos, you will, in fact, your heart will be bleeding. You see the level of suffering, the level of dejection, rejection in the society. People have has no place to run to. They are fed up with life. They are tired about this life. Why? Because the government is self-destructive. The government of this country has no better plans and prospects for the country. They don't even know whether some Nigerians exist, let alone whether you are living. They don't know. They don't care whether you exist. If you even exist in the first place, they don't even know. Just excuse me, just that is 5 seconds. Let me take some water. This is quite sad, honestly. This what you are saying. Please, I want you to keep on, of course, responding to these issues because we must begin to address them irrespective of wherever you are. Because whether we like it or not, if you are in diaspora and you have people in Nigeria today, I bet you also be feeling the heat. In fact, if there is anything more better to describe what you'll be feeling, it's not even easy for the Ezekiels. Sorry if your name is Ezekiel. It is the reality is that even though it's not easy for even the Ezekiels. Honestly, people are losing their minds, and you will blame the young ones for, of course, resorting to drug addictions. I heard some people are saying that people are now into Yahoo Yahoo. Why wouldn't they go into Yahoo? What did you provide for them? What did you provide for them? Even the highest Yahoo Yahoo are those in government. They are the worst Yahoo Yahoo. Because when you embezzle money that was meant to better the lots of your citizens, fellow citizens, you are the worst Yahoo Yahoo. When you embezzle money that was meant to construct roads, to provide easy accessibility, interconnections from communities to communities, you are the worst Yahoo Yahoo. When you paddle budgets, inflate cost of contracts, you are the worst Yahoo Yahoo. In fact, the Yahoo Yahoo are those in governments and their allies. I will be pursuing people, young guys who are frustrated, who are rejected by the society, who are intentionally, of course, discarded, left at their own mercy. I'm not justifying going to crime or indulging in criminality, in crime. No, that is not what I'm saying. If the society has provided a platform, enabling environment for them, 70% of those who are in Yahoo Yahoo will not even contemplate doing that. So that is to say the government should be held responsible. 70%. Look at China now. China, do they have more population than Nigeria? But Nigeria has the highest poverty rates rating in the world. The highest. Check China. How much is their population? Nigeria that claimed to be 200 and something million, if actually we are up to, with the rate of dying and bombardment of innocent people under the disguise of error. Well, I believe that errors could happen, but sometimes we want to blame the military. Most of the militaries have been the military personnel have been demoralized. Because you must be in your right sense of mind or set of mind before you can protect other people. So that you will not become a threat even to those who you want to protect. If your allowances are being withheld, are being denied, and you are a soldier, or you are flying this thing, you can't even see very clearly what you want to detect, your objects of targets or your targets. So you don't blame them sometimes. It's the societal problem that also is affecting them. That's why the government said, the military said, okay, now they will be sure before they strike or carry out any bombardment, they will be sure 100%. So you have not been sure all this while. You just gaze. You just play gamble with the Nigerian lives, Nigerians, the life of humanity. You have not been sure. Military are known before to be very precise and concise, very articulate. It's just like a doctor. A doctor is trained to be very professional, disciplined, precise. Otherwise, you will kill millions of your patients that you are intended to save. For the government, for the military hierarchy coming to tell the world that now we will be serious, that we have not been serious before. You have been playing gamble. We have been playing games with Nigerians' life, that you can bomb anybody, even though you see anything, you can bomb it. It doesn't matter. You have not been, you have not upped your games, that you will now be 100% sure. By that submissions, you have admitted and acknowledged that you are incapable to man such office, that you have been destroying Nigerians' lives. You are meant to protect. Now you must be sure. So you can imagine with the level of digitalizations, with the level of precisions. There are cameras, surveillance areas, camera surveillance you can mount that can pick, even a stone, if that is your target, that can give you the correct image of the object you want to strike. This is the result of a system that is failing. You bombard the Kututu under the disguise of pursuing unknown gunmen. You ended up killing innocent people because you are not sure. You might be driven by some sentiments because you are hungry, because the other surroundings, you are also humans. You need to take care of your families and all that. But when they are not being given attention, there are no incentives, there are no motivations. Now, won't they bomb anything they see there and come out, even though that they don't even have to think twice, only to come and regret the system has been hijacked. But hijacked by who? There's nothing wrong hijacking a system. When a system is derailing, concerned citizens can arrest such anomaly. Can arrest such anomaly. It is quite sad. Yes, when the system, just like what happened in Niger, when the government of the day or the democratically elected government are derailing the masses, empowering the masses of Niger with the conspiracy of the France government. The masses rose and said, no, we are not going to accept this. And responsible ones within the military who are passionate about building an egalitarian society where everybody will be free, where everybody will feel sense of belonging, will enjoy dividend of democracy. They arrested the so-called democratic elected government. So they hijacked the government because it is derailing the population. Uh, we are complaining. You see, a society that needs to move forward must have a robust system, internet facilities, must be stable and must be reliable to certain degrees. You can imagine what you're saying. Or just I missed the program. The thing went off and it took about a few minutes to come back to life. These are exactly the pains and experience. And not that it's affordable. You know, the cost of running this program is very exorbitant. And for us to maintain this live streaming, of course, is because of the passion we have for humanity. And of course, in fact, we're passionate about this. We're passionate about humanity. And that has been our encouragement. But if you have to consider the cost of running this, you might be discouraged because of the cost. Just like every particular, the tariffs are ever increasing. You can't even imagine that, honestly. When you wake up with a new tariff. When you wake up with a new price. You might be going to bed with a different price, waking up with a new price. That is about what you are saying in this country. There is no regulation anywhere. Just banana republic. Telecoms, foreign telecoms will come and exploit Nigerians. Nobody, even the national whatever communication commission, don't even care. You see, they don't even care. Your network can go off without calling anybody, holding anybody responsible. You're saying a network now. If NEPA bring lights, up NEPA. If NEPA, people will be silent. But when in a safe society, you dare not interrupt the services you are providing to the masses. Otherwise, of course, it will be suit-free. The company will pay through their nose. By the time they pay once, pay twice, their brain will open. Yes. But here, nobody cares. They will even take the lights. They can tell you that down system, down network, downtime, and without even pre-informing you, without even telling you. Is that how society should be run? Even in general, in hospitals, they do take lights. I'm talking in hospitals. Who knows hospital? In National Assembly, where the hallowed chambers, they run with generator. Now, what assurance do you have that general hospitals will light will be provided for them? No, these are basic common sense. If the people who call themselves policy making bodies, legislators, will not legislate that under no circumstances should any government parastatal offices use generating set. That is when we will know that they are serious. They themselves are importers of generating sets. They have big time business. an interest in that. So they won't even allow that to work. If you're discussing about power generation stabilization, they will be laughing at you. Their containers are in the sea coming, loaded with gen sets, different kind of generating sets. And you think there are these kind of people that can fix the country? A system that is hijacked. That is what you see. And it's quite sad, it's quite unfortunate, honestly. The list is unending, honestly. And just as I was saying before the network interruption, there are positive aspects of hijacking. When a system is disruptive, when a system is destructive, when a system is status quo, needed to be changed. And the people rose up to confront that status quo and to create another sense of direction. That is on a positive side, a positive energy. Just as I cited what happened in Burkina Faso, you can see how good they are doing now in Niger Republic. Imagine Niger, they are having reformations in the economy. The one they call the junta, military junta, selected, appointed technocrats, people who knows their onions, people who knows what they are doing, not on the basis of political sentiment, not on the basis of quota system, not on the basis of who know who. They knew who can fix the country, who can put or return the country on the paths, on the trajectory of progress, development. They went and picked, appointed the person because they have the political will. They understood that this is not how systems should be run. This is not how a government is not a banana island. Institutions of government are not banana island where anybody does what he can't. Just as I said now, you dare not take the lights, interrupt even in Ghana here without informing the citizens. Because business owners will sue you. Because interrupting their lights, for those who are into deep freezers or freezing businesses, you will destroy whatever they have at the refrigerator, fishes and all that. And you want them to take that for granted, you will pay through your nose. So because, this kind of system is damaging, it damages people's psyche. Reasonable people cannot imagine what kind of society Nigeria is fast turning to. Honestly, nobody cares. They can come and inflate the prices of fuel, prices of food, without any regulation. Even those who call themselves the stupid Labour Congress, very useless set of people. They have become more partisans than even the politicians. No wonder people could no longer trust them, because they have given their words over and over and they ate the words. They could not live. They could not match their words with actions. People, they have reduced themselves to rumbles. People can't trust them because they have not in any way protected the interests of the masses. Labour cannot enforce regulations. Price control cannot hold the government accountable. In Europe and other areas, you dare not increase food commodities anyhow. Just in Kenya, they just added some cents or whatever they call to the bread, the price of bread sent to. They went on rampage. Just a cent, not just increasing it by just Nigeria. A loaf of bread that was sold 200 naira, 250 is getting to 1.5. What percent is that? Not just adding a cent. It had been increased by 700%. Yes, to 800%. And everybody keeps calm. So this one, know that nobody they talk. Gradually destroying the entire system and thinking that nobody is talking. But my people say that when a snare is on fire, is releasing some content, liquid content, they think is quenching the fire. He don't know that it's helping to incinerate, to burn up himself. The government of the day think they are quenching, they are suppressing the masses, the defenseless and voiceless individuals, citizens who has been forced, poverty has been forced on them. If you say it is a lie, that they are lazy, is GSK lazy? Multinational this thing, conglomerate. Is P&G lazy? Who is making that noise? Is P&G lazy? No, if you say that Nigerians are lazy, why are they going out of market? And the same government is talking over the country, telling us that they are looking for investors. And the ones you have are dying in your very eyes. And you're not asking questions. And you tell me you are passionate, you are a patriotic leader, you want the good, not even better or best. You even have the goods of your people at heart. And when people like us express our dissatisfaction, they will say you are criticizing. Which governments am I criticizing? If I do that, is that how government should be run? Is that what you call government? The same people criticize military juntas, military government of Abacha, calling them names. They are truncating democracy. What are you truncating? Do we have democracy? Do we have people's rights and interests being protected? The same thing you accuse the military, who are, by comparison, are more far better. People prefer Abacha time than what is happening. In fact, you dare not make such comparison because it's just two parallel lines. Abacha time was heaven on earth. Yes. Compared to this democratic process, what you call democratic process, without rule of law, without adherence, any society that cannot respect rule of law cannot be trusted by any other country or investors. Yes, the indication of assessment of evaluating any country that could be a potential haven for investment, you must know if how they value rule of law. Can they provide security for their own citizens? What is the security or the index ratio? How safe is such community? How viable are the economy, the ease of doing business? How sustainable are the governments? How reliable are the government policies? Yes. These are indices, growth indicators, economic indicators. You cannot carry your wealth and go and put it in Red Sea, in Dead Sea, and say you are making investment. That is the height of madness, stupidity. Nobody dares start. Not even Nigerians safe. People, Nigerians in diaspora who has made money and they want to repatriate or of course invest in their country. They can't do. Some who are here now, they are selling their properties and they are leaving. They are flying away. Now, a white man, they want go bring. Not be madness. Not be, did you be that? No. Your own citizens cannot come confidently to invest in their country. You are going to Japan, going to China, going to India to come and invest. If their own supposed citizens has lost confidence in Nigerian system, in Nigerian economic sphere, then we want to now instill that confidence in another foreigner who knows you better than you think you know yourself. As you keep on living in denial. No, tell me. An average Nigerians now, what is in their mind? Survival. If they have the slightest opportunity, they don't contemplate it 2 times. They don't think it 2 times to leave the source of this country. I am aware, I have seen bank managers who are well paid, if you use the word well paid, who are relatively, but they say that this is affecting the state of the country is affecting their psyche, is affecting their sense of reasoning, is damaging their psyche. So they can't live in such a hostile environment, destructive environment. What they do, if they have properties, they sell it off. The next one is to jump back to Canada or any other Europe or other available cities. First, they want to preserve their sanity. They want to live in an environment where human beings live, where human beings think like human beings, not animals, where there is value for human life. The sacredness of human life must be respected. They're not, some of them are not living because they are all that hungry or poor. They are living because this environment is becoming destructive to their psyche, to their sanity, to their existence. I went to, I accompanied someone to Alausa, where they are doing this thing. I saw people, even children. I said, wow, what is happening? If Nigerians are living like this, it means there is something serious that the government is not telling us. If the masses are living with their families and Nigerians are not thinking, the government is not thinking, they may wake up one day to discover there is nothing like Nigeria. They will wake up one day and discover it will dawn on anyone that the word Nigeria is just a mere fantasy. It's just a mere geographical expression, as rightly put by the late sage Awolowo. That Nigeria has not attained nationhood. They are just a mere political or geographical expression. One day, if this continues, of course, we've not seen an end. If it will be stopped, then the government should be should be alive to her responsibilities to the citizens and to humanity. But we have not seen such. They have not contemplated that, let alone discussing it. I leave you with these submissions. The time is fast spent. I apologize for the interruption. Our network glitches. These are parts of the experience here. And thank you for watching, and have a very fantastic moment. You can also drop your comments via the comment sections, and if you deem it necessary to support us in this work, it will be much appreciated. Thank you once again. Remain blessed. But don't forget, we have a responsibility, a duty to salvage humanity. What efforts are you making gearing towards this? Because it's a task that must be done. We cannot continue to live our collective destiny to chances. It is time to rise. We cannot transfer the battles of the present to the unborn generation. That was what the errors of our fathers. We must correct these errors and right the wrong. We have the opportunity. There is no other better time than now.